What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Erasmo Cortez, and today I'm going to show you guys a start to finish on how to embroider on a hat, more specifically on a Richardson 112 trucker hat. So stay tuned. Let's go. All right, guys, so a few things that you're going to need. You're going to need your cap frame. Okay. You're going to need one sheet of tearaway, and of course your hat. Go ahead and place the tearaway backing on top of the cap frame, and then unfold the sweat band. Okay, so unfold it, remove it out the way, and then slide it through. Now there's this line right here, this red line. You want that to be centered with the center of the cap, the seam. Okay, so when you hoop it, you want to just make sure they're both lined up together. Okay, and a little trick is you move the hat a little bit to the left, so that when you clamp down, it's gonna push to the right, and you'll see right now. Okay, let me get close up here real quick. Excuse me. Okay. Then you want the teeth to be touching the brim of the hat, between the panel and the brim where they meet. That's where you want the teeth of this cap frame. That's where you want that to hit. Okay, so you want those to touch. Okay, so just push it with your fingers. Okay, then again, move the hat just a little bit to the left. Okay, so right here, this little knob here. Okay, you want the teeth to go in with these teeth here as well. See, these teeth are going to touch with these teeth. Okay, line it up right there. Then this little knob is going to go on this part right here over it. Okay, it's in place. Okay, the hat is a little bit to the left. Once I close the clamp, the hat is going to move a little bit to the right. Okay, so my hat moved a little bit too much, so I'm gonna turn the hat a little bit, right about there. Okay, now clamp it. One more time. All right, there you go. Okay, so your hat is hooped. Okay, so that's the first step. Okay, so now that we have our cap hooped already, the next step is going to be on the machine part. What we're going to do is we're going to be changing the needles. Okay, right now I have 75 needles on my my machines. We're going to swap them for 80 needles. A little bit more thicker and just better when it comes to hats like this. You can get away with 75 if you have it dialed in pretty correctly. Let me see. I have some here. 80 needles, okay. So let's bring you guys close so you guys can see how we do it. All right, so the design that we're going to be embroidering today is a 3-color design. So we're going to be replacing 3 needles and swapping them out with the 80 needles. Okay, and these are the ones I use for cap print for hats. Okay, so you want to take a screenshot or write it down, and you can find these in just on a Google search, or if you want to go to I think it's called allstitch.com. I think that's where I buy them. I'll leave a link in the bio, in the description. Okay, we're gonna be doing, let's see, colors white, red, and black. So I have black is going to be number 10, 12 is going to be red, and then we're going to swap this one for white. So let's switch. So what you're going to do is you're going to get a flathead and twist it to the left just a hair, just to loosen it up, and removing this needle. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and get our new needle. And there's a way to install your needle. How to explain this to you guys? Let's see. The back part, then there's I'm sure there's other videos here that will tell you, but the needle has a back part and then a forward part. As long as you can see the groove and you can run your fingernail through it, that's, you know, that's the front. That's the front part of the needle. Let's see if you guys can see. So that's the front. That's where we would install it. The back part, there's no groove where you can run your fingernail through. It's just all. So that's how you can tell the difference. You're gonna go ahead and install it in. Then you're gonna get this tool that comes with your machine. This is gonna line up your needle so you know that it's positioned correctly. Right now it's way too far to the right. You just basically want a 5-degree angle, so just a hair to the right. So okay, and go ahead and tighten it up, and you would do that to all the other needles if you're doing hats. Okay, so let's go on to the next step. What I'm doing now is I already swapped out 10. I still got to swap out number 9, and I also got to do 12. So I'm going to be doing that while you guys just see. Okay. Okay. Line it up. Make sure it's a little bit to the right of us. Okay. Tighten it up. Okay. Get a little bit of thread. Okay. Open up. Feed the thread into the needle. There you go. All right. So number 10, number 9, and number 12 are done. Now what you want to do is you want your pressure foot. You want to do that. You want to pressure foot's in the back. You want to turn the knob all the way to the very top, and then you want to go 4 clicks down, 4 to 5 clicks down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let me get another shot for you guys. All right, so that's the pressure foot. You want to go all the way up, and for hats, you want to go about 4 to 5 clicks down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Make sure your bobbin case is dialed to around 180 to 220 as far as the tension goes, which is this thing. So let's just check. Okay. So let's give it a shot. And we're dialed in. Go ahead and make sure you oil it up. You know, do your maintenance when it comes to your rotary hook. So add a drop of oil, and there you go. Now let's go on to Design Shop, get the design, set it up so that we can send it to the machine. Okay, so now the design has been digitized, and yes, please get your design digitized professionally. Okay, and let them know that you're going to be doing hats for this design. Specifically, let them know it's a structured hat, a Richardson 112 hat. Tell them. Okay, now for hats, the size you want to stay at for the max is 2.25 in height. Okay, if you go 2.2.5, you're gonna get some trouble towards the top of the hat when it's stitching. So I found the sweet spot, and it's at 2.25. So always get your designs no more than 2.25. Okay, then what you want to do is you want to rotate the design, because when you first load it into your software, it's going to be the SO. It's going to technically be right here. It's going to be centered. Okay, but you want the design to go as low as possible on a hat. You don't want the design too high or too low, of course. So for designs that are 2 inches or 2.25 inch, you want to go as low as possible. So let's go ahead and rotate the design. Okay, 1, 2. Okay, then you want to go ahead and grab the design, and move it down. Well, in our case, move it up. Let's move it up. Now you see these black little squares? You see these little dots right here? You want that square to touch that dot barely. Okay, that will let you know that that's as low as you want to go. Because if you go too low, like for example here, you're gonna get needle breaks. You're going way too low, and you're gonna get needle breaks, and you're gonna damage the hat. So you don't want to go that low either. You want the box barely touching those dotted lines. So let me move it again. And I mean, that would be good, you know. That's not bad at all. You could go just a bit more if you wanted to. That's good right there. Okay, so we've done that, and this is all done on Design Shop. Okay, on your design. Okay, so now let's go ahead and load it to the machine. So let's send this design over to the EMT. So you can do it two ways. You can go to File and then send it to the machine, load design. Or what I like to do is I like to click on this icon here, which is load design. And wait a few seconds. It's pulling up OS. And there we go. So I got some maintenance that are due. So my rotary hook is due. We'll do that here shortly. I have a 2 million maintenance stitch that is due. Okay, I'll do a video of that here one day so you guys can see. But okay, so now the design is set. You don't have to do nothing on this end. Okay, as far as the design is perfect, you know. So basically, let me get a hat for you guys. All right, so you guys see here it's indicating that the design is at its lowest point for it to be embroidered. So when you actually embroider on a hat, it would be right there. You see, just visualize as this line here all across the hat is this line here. You know, you don't want the design to go over that, because then it's going to go down here, and that's when you're going to get needle breaks. So that's as low as you want to go on a hat. Okay, and that's what we're going to do right now on a Richardson hat. So every design, again, that's 2 to 2.5 inches. I'm sorry, 2 1/4 inches. You want to go to the lowest point. Now, if a design is 1 inch or 1.5 inches, you can bring the design a little bit more up so that it's centered to the hat. Okay, let me show you another example. For example, here, see this design here? We didn't go all the way to the very bottom of the brim. We centered the design because this design is about 1.5 inches. It would not look good if we put this design all the way right here. Then the logo would be sitting right here, and then the hat would have so much dead space. It would just look bad. So it just depends on the designs. But again, if your design is 2 inches to 2 1/4, you want to go as low as possible. And we can do another video on how to find the placement for stuff like this, but let's just go back to the 2-inch design. So some settings that you should probably do that's worked for me is, let's go to tools, let's go to settings, and I would just say copy these. I have these for all 3 of my machines. So on the machine settings for hats, I enable the bobbin thread, because a lot of times you get these false threads, and there's not even a bobbin thread, and it's just false alert. So I enable it, but you have to make sure that you keep up with your bobbin. So you can have this bobbin timer enable, and that way, and maybe put it at 20,000 stitches, so that it alerts you that, hey, it's time to replace the bobbin. Because if you don't have this on and it's stitching and the bobbin's out, it's gonna keep on stitching and stitching, and then you're just gonna have loose threads all over the hats. And that's happened to me a few times where I figured it out now. I got to keep up with my bobbin if it's low. So like, for example, let's see with this one. Let's see how much we have here left. Well, we got a few left here. Maybe one more hat or two. So then on that third hat, when it's time to load, I would check the bobbin, see where we at, if I need to replace it with another one. Or like I said, you can do the timer and it tells you. Just keep it like maybe at 20,000 stitches. Okay, so we have the enable all thread detective, keep that. The bobbin thread, like I said, take that off. Each stitch count, keep that at 2. Tail length, medium. Trim type, normal. And then over here as well, keep that as well. A lot of this was already as is when it came to the machine. The only thing really was just I think the bobbin part was checked. I think all these were checked, but I unchecked those. You see the setting parts. I don't think I did anything on that part, so you don't have to do anything on that end. Okay, let's cancel. Actually, we go back so I can apply the bobbin timer. Bobbin timer. Okay, activate. Okay, so now let's go here on this part right here. Okay, speeds, I can go all the way up to like 900, 950 with these, but we have some letters here, you know, and it's going to be hitting the center seam. You know, these are some tiny letters. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to stay at, we'll do 800, and then once the letter starts to stitch, I'll probably bump it down to 750. Okay, let's go ahead and do our colors. Okay, so my colors here, I have white on needle number 9. I have black on needle number 10, and I have red on bobbin. Red. I have at needle number 12. Okay, let's click apply, apply. Active feed for me and my machines, I found my sweet spot for hats, flat embroidery, not puff, is around 8 to 7. This one has a lot of stitches for about 12,000 stitches. There's fills and then some more stitches on top of that. So let's try 8. Auto, always stay that on auto. Max is at 40, looks like it. Okay, that's it. So now let's go hoop the cap onto the machine and let's hit go. All right, guys, so we have our pressure foot all the way up and then 4 clicks down. We have all our needles positioned correctly. We're using 80 for this hat. Bobbin is checked. The specs from the bobbin, we already checked that. That's set. Everything we did on the settings on the computer is set. So now we got to do is just load the hat. Okay. Okay, if you want to double check and make sure that your needle is centered with the cap, you can do that by pushing this button and then these 2 buttons, holding this one and then moving it, see, and then moving it again to the right. Okay, so I'm gonna go center the hat. Then to center it, to go to bring the hat back to center, just push this one. See, let me do it again. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we need to find the center. We want to align the needle with the center of the seam. So I'm gonna move it a little bit. Okay, then if you want to double check your work, move the needle case to a needle that's not going to be used. Okay, push the emergency button, and then underneath here there's going to be a bar, and you're going to counterclockwise. You see that one right there? Yeah. Put your hand right there, you go, and then turn it clockwise. That's going to bring down the needle. Okay, and look, we are centered. Okay, so you are perfect. Your design is going to be centered. It's not going to be in a weird position. Your design will be centered to the hat. It won't be shift to the left or a little bit to the right. It'll be perfect. Okay, and you only do this when you hooped at the hat at the very beginning. Remember when I told you, get your cap, See this line here? Remember when I said that make sure that when you're hooping, the hat, the center seam, and this are lined up together. If when you hoop it and you tighten it up and it's a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right, you would have to do this manually. Because if you don't do that and you start stitching, the design is not going to be centered. It's going to be either a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right. Okay? All right, let me focus. Let me put this back in place. All right, so now that we're set, all we have to do now is push go. Push the green button and we should be back in about 15 minutes or so. Unless we get a thread break or a needle break. But again, if you follow my instructions, you shouldn't. So let's go. Well, we got a little bit of, I guess you would call a little bit of fray on my, on the thread. That's an easy fix. Either the needle, maybe I got a bad needle. I mean, maybe I do replace my needles a lot back and forth. This isn't a new needle, so it could be that. Maybe I do need to replace this and get a brand new box. Let me do that. Where's my needles? Here we go. Okay. Okay. So I got brand new needles. That could have probably been why I got some fray on my thread right here. See right there? Could be because the needle that I used was an old needle. Like I said, I like to save my needles when I'm swapping out. You know, let's say I had a job and I was doing flats and then I'm doing hats. So I switch them out. And maybe this one was probably used too much. It was time to just dispose of it, which what I'm gonna do now. So let's go ahead and do that now. Let's go ahead and remove this needle. And I don't know how to inspect when it's time to replace. The way I just do it is every few days. I run my machines 8 to 10 hours a day. So every few days I just swap out a needle. And so, okay, let's get a brand new box, brand new needle. Okay. Slide them in. And get your tool to make sure that your needle is straight and then a little bit to the right of yours. And there's a video on how to do this as well if you need a better understanding. Okay. Cut. Open. Okay. So let's say you got a needle. Let's say you're in the same situation as me. You got a thread break or fray and you replace your needle. Okay. You don't want to start right away. You want to go back a few stitches. Okay. So to go back, you just push the back button right here. I don't know if you can see it on my, okay, yeah, you can. It's this button right here. So I'm gonna go back a little bit. That's good. Start it off and see what happens now. All right, guys. So the machine is done. We did not have any thread breaks, no bobbin breaks, anything that, except at the very beginning where we had some fray on the thread itself, and that's probably my fault on my end for not replacing the a new needle. Let's back up a little bit. So we're done here. Now, we did lose a little bit of registration, so I'm not liking that. I don't think it was my hooping. It could be the digitizing itself. I didn't run a sew out to begin with. I should have done that first. This was designed, was sent to me to be done, so I just assumed it would be good. Man, well, this hat's no longer good, so that sucks, but it happens. That's my mistake. I should have done a sew out to begin with to see if there's any digitizing in place. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the drawing board, reach out back to the person who sent me this design and let them know that, hey, well, first I'm gonna do a sew out, see how it turns out, and if it's not the sew out, then it's probably again on my end, but I highly doubt it. But look, no thread breaks. Get behind here. So you see how low we got. You know, that's pretty good. You know, that's you want to get low for hat embroidery. Again, a design that's 2 inches or 2.5, 2.25. That's where you want to be at. You want to be that low. You don't want to go too high, because imagine this same design that you're embroidering and you started up here, you would finish up here, and that looks tacky. That's just bad. It's just like doing on a hat. Doing t-shirts, right? On the left chest. Are you gonna put the design? Are you gonna put the design up here to the collarbone? No, right? You're gonna go, like they say, 4 fingers down, right here where it starts. Same thing with hats. You don't want to put the hat too high up because it looks tacky. Same thing, so you want to go as low as possible when it comes to hat embroidery. But you saw the steps, you saw what I did. No needle breaks. Yeah, just gosh, like I said, has to be digitizing this issue. I use another digitizer for my cap embroidery, never have an issue. Still, like I said, I'm doing this for somebody and I got an issue, so I for sure believe it's a digitizing issue, because I didn't like the way it started off either. It started from the top. It started from the top and it started coming down, and I didn't like that. I'm not really good when it comes to digitizing. I know a little bit, and I know with cap embroidery, a lot of times sometimes you want to start from the bottom up and then pushed out. This one did the opposite technically, so I'm gonna get back to this customer and let him know and go from there. But again, you saw that you can do hats with ease with your Melco EMT embroidery machine. These are EMT16X. I know there's a difference from a EMT16 and a 16X, but I mean all of them are X's, and I run hats every day. No issues whatsoever. As long as you do the steps that I showed you and find you a good digitizer, you should be knocking hats left and right all day long. But again, subscribe to my channel, like my page. I will be posting a little bit more now. I'm gonna take the time to put more videos out there. Just let me know what you guys want to see. Again, I do a lot of hats. We also do polos. Whatever you guys want, let me know. So as long as it's polos, sweatshirts, hoodies, jackets, beanies, hats, a lot of the stuff that we do for businesses where they need uniforms for their employees, that's what we do. And yeah, but again, thank you for watching, and I want to see you guys start doing hats with your embroidery machine. Take care. Talk soon. Bye-bye.